of freedom. Most people live their lives surrounded by authoritarian hierarchies, from families to schools to businesses to all levels of government. As a result, most people have a hard time even beginning to imagine a leaderless civilization, a society of equals, an existence devoid of rulers, a world without legislators and their laws. The very thought in people's minds conjures up images of chaos and mayhem. People are more comfortable with whatever they are accustomed to and fear the unknown. People are so attached to whatever is familiar to them that even those who live in very high crime areas or war zones rarely leave the world they know to search for something better. Similarly, it is a well documented fact that some long term prisoners develop a fear of being released and, when they are, commit further crimes with the intention of being sent back to prison. Even slaves can exhibit a dread of being freed. This is because the life of a prisoner or a slave, though not likely fulfilling, is predictable. And imagining a new, drastically changed life in a strange place among strangers with all of the related uncertainties — how will I eat? Where will I live? What will it be like? Will I be safe? — scares almost everyone. So it is when most people contemplate human society without a ruling class. The concept is so foreign to everything they have ever known and ever thought about, and everything they were taught is necessary and good, that they hardly know how to even begin to imagine it. Even our very language illustrates our fear of living in a society as free equals, because such a state is defined as anarchy, a term also used to describe chaos and destruction. We have grown so accustomed to the mental cage with the myth which the myth of authority has formed around each of us, that most of us are terrified of the idea of life without a cage. We are literally scared of our own freedom. And some people work hard to reinforce that fear. Those who benefit the most from the myth of authority, those who crave domination over others, and the unearned wealth and power it gives them, are constantly pushing the message that life without them in charge would mean constant pain and suffering for everyone. Just about anything people can be afraid of — crime, poverty, disease, invasion, environmental disaster, etc. — has been used by tyrants to scare people into subservience. The details vary, but the template of the message from the tyrants is always the same. If you do not give us power over you, so that we can protect you, you will suffer horribly. That message, combined with man's inherent fear of the unknown, has allowed for an incomprehensible level of oppression, theft, and outright murder, lasting generation after generation all around the world. Ironically, it has been the empty promise of protection against suffering and injustice which has duped so many people into accepting the very thing which has caused more suffering and injustice than anything else in history — the belief in government. It seems strange to think It seems strange that any thinking human being would not be naturally open and receptive to the idea that he owns himself and should be in charge of his own life, unhindered by any human authority. However, the average person who bears such a message often lashes out at the messenger, insists that actual freedom, a world without masters and subjects, would mean chaos and destruction, and then vehemently advocates the continued enslavement of all of mankind, including himself. He does so not based upon any rational thought or any evidence or experience, but based upon his own deep-seated existential terror of the unknown. The unknown in this case being a society of equals instead of masters and subjects. He has never seen it in action on a large scale and has never thought about it, cannot imagine it, and therefore fears it. And those who desire domination over others are constantly reinforcing and encouraging that fear in those they seek to subjugate. And those who desire domination over others are constantly reinforcing and encouraging that fear in those they seek to subjugate.